Hey guys, Stealth here, and welcome back to From the Depths. The last time I featured From the Depths was 3 years ago, no less. It was 2017, and the game has developed quite a bit since then. It's been a game that's been often requested on my channel, that I have another look at it, or people didn't see the way that I had played it before, and were completely oblivious that I'd already done a series on it before. In this particular video I'm going to do a new adventure, which means that you start out with almost nothing. You have to either mine your way to getting a better ship, or you have to destroy others. Survival is critical. As I'm recording this, I don't know if it's going to be a one-off adventure, or if it's going to be the start of a mini-series / series. We'll just have to see how it goes. New adventure. This is going to be my YouTube adventure. Alright, for those of you unfamiliar with this game, my objective right now is to make sure that I can survive. The game gives me about a grace period of, I think it is a few minutes, to ensure that I don't immediately get killed off. In this time, the game doesn't spawn anything yet. Emphasis yet, because it will eventually. And that is kind of the problem. Because at some point there will be a huge risk. I will get shot at and I will probably lose either parts of my craft or the entirety of the craft. Now, in order to actually be able to afford a material gatherer, I'm probably going to have to dismantle most of the raft. Let's see, let's turn the mirror mode off. These things are 50 each, materials gatherers. I don't remember them being this expensive. 53. There we go. That'll do. All that I need is one of these things to ensure that my material supply is slowly going to go up. But I'm a sitting duck right now. I don't have anything. Unfortunately, as this is adventure mode, I cannot safely build my craft. I cannot lift it out of the water. And I'll just have to build it sort of as is. Now, let's see if I can get the buoyancy back up. No materials. Yeah, surprise, surprise. The thing with this miner, if I'm not mistaken, is that it always needs to be above water. And that's a bit of a problem, seeing how much the craft is maneuvering back and forth. So let's remove that materials gatherer and put that like that. Now, ideally I would have another one, so I'm going to wait until I have 50 and then get a second one, and then I'll have to start working on an engine. Because with power, these things generate substantially more. Oh, never mind. There we go. We already have 3. 4. Okay, good. Now I can start building my craft out a bit more, if you want to call it a craft. It's more of a platform with a couple of miners on it. That's all that this thing is. The build that I'm going for in this particular playthrough is a torpedo / rocket boat. So think early on it's going to be something that resembles or tries to resemble a torpedo boat. Later on it might become something bigger, and it might turn into a, oh, I don't know, a guided missile cruiser of sorts. But it's going to take me quite a while to get there, seeing as how few resources I have. Alright, if I turn off the build mode, I still only have 11. Yeah. I really don't have a lot of resources. I have 904 commodities. Oh, sorry, 914. Should be enough to get at least a simple engine going, an Ecomax, or I can go with electric power. But that's more expensive. That would require an RTG, a radioisotope thermoelectric generator. That constantly generates power. Power goes into the battery, and the battery puts it over into the electric motor. For now, though, I think a fuel engine is a bit easier to put down. There we go. Now I'm getting a substantially higher amount of units, items, if you will. So I can also start building a bit faster. First things first, I'm going to need an ability to run. I need to be able to GTFO in case there will be enemies. And rest assured, they'll be here. They'll be here. Usually inside 10 minutes. So that is how little time I have. Cylinders overheated. Lovely. Already. Maybe I didn't put the engine right. Let me just remove the engine. As you can tell, it has been a while. I did do quite a few of the tutorials again before going on with making this video. Nevertheless, yeah, I didn't have everything. Nevertheless, I'm a bit rusty, so there is a high likelihood that this is going to be a pretty short adventure. Alright, let's go for a bit of a hull. Sloped blocks. Oh, right, you first need to have the rest of it. Here. Let's go for a double layer hull with a triple block slope. Okay. Cylinder overheated again. Come on now. I want an air pump. Air pumps mean that if you have an enclosed space, it will consider it as a dry space. So it doesn't actually flood and considers it as something that is supposed to float as opposed to something that dives, which is not necessarily a bad thing in this game. I have had, at least in the past, a couple of really nice runs using a submarine. But it is tricky to get one of those things built in time. Back when I was playing this thing a lot more, I had a lot more, well, at least faith in my skills to get a craft out quickly. Alright, let's put a couple of slopes over here. Whoops. Yep, like that. Just a bit farther out to the side. I'll need water controls, which will mean a rudder. Like that. And a couple of props. Propellers. Okay, we have props. Next, make sure I can control the whole creation. Control, ship's wheel. And a chair. Chairs look a bit odd, but they are required to ensure that you don't accidentally fall overboard. I'm really not sure why this engine keeps overheating. I don't like that at all. Maybe I have just enough to get an RTG going and not have to worry about it as much. So radiothermal isotope. That, let's go with 2 standard batteries. I believe that it is the way that the game goes. The bigger the battery, the more power you generate. Yeah, power generated 70 out of 88. Can I put another battery in? Power generated 61 out of 175. 61 out of 264. See, now we're getting somewhere. Now I want to add a few more material gatherers so that from this starting zone where I'm currently in, I can generate as much supply as possible. You can see it going up on the bottom right hand side. I'll also need to ensure that I can store that stuff. So let's go with a large wooden storage. And that'll ensure that I can now store 9,000 points of supplies. Okay, quickly, make a bow. Wood. How did I used to do that? I think the inverted L block. Then another beam. To manage expectations, by the way, I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a series out of this one. I'm not sure if this is going to be something that I happen to do a lot of. I just felt like making another video on it. So please don't get your hopes up and expect streams, videos, weekly, daily, whatever. I'm not quite at that stage yet. Alright, another inverted block. Now we need a couple of... No, not wedge front, triangle corners. I didn't quite do it right. Whatever, I'll fix that when I can. Right now, I'm just happy if I can get the hell out. Yeah, we'll fix that later. That and a couple of... I think I was using 3s for the slopes. And then back to 4s. Put that on here. Next, 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 next. Seal up this hole. There we go. Now the game considers this to be an enclosed space, and there's nothing that is going to enter this hole. Well, short of cannonballs, missiles, and whatever shit they decide to throw at me. But up until that point, we're relatively safe. Now, what I want to make is a turret that throws out torpedoes. So, weapons. I think it's under the... Where was that again? Defense? Chaff emitters, heat decoys, radar decoys, sonar decoys. No. You know what? Let's use the turret. A 1-axis turret. That's all that I need. 1-axis turret. I'm going to put that over there. Okay, a couple of standard blocks. No, actually, no. We're going to go with missile connectors. Like that. And then a couple on each side. A couple of medium launchers. And then a couple of medium gantries. These things are getting really expensive. So I might only be able to afford a small launching installation. I'll also need to be able to control it. So a controller has to get connected. And what I'd also prefer is that I not get hit by my own creations. So I'll add an IFF, identifier friendly foe, and a staggered fire. And the staggered fire is going to be set to 1 second. Okay, these little missiles can get a little bigger now. One on this side and one on that side. Type, variable thruster, no. I'm going to go with a torpedo launcher. Torpedo, 1 set of fins. They need a regulator, they need to survive longer. I think 2 fuel tanks should do. I need a magnet, so it's going to be attracted to the center of mass. A couple of explosive warheads. I'm not sure if this is the meta now, I have no idea. And finally, an active torpedo sonar. Copy to all matching launch pads. Okay, so now at least I have a weapon system. Making sure I need to control that, or I can control that rather, would also be quite favorable. So control, fire control, there. I'm still inside this circle. I'm still generating at least a bit of materials. Wait. Felt like something launched. No, we're good. Okay, what I also need to do is ensure that I have ammo. Otherwise, I cannot be capable of resupplying what I have. I cannot fire another set of missiles. So a couple of ammunition boxes. These things are pretty volatile. If they blow up, you have a serious chance of losing a large portion of your craft. So they come with a certain measure of risk. Oh, and I also need another RTG, apparently. because I'm not generating anywhere near the power. My batteries are dying. Still not enough? Still not enough? Come on. That's 4 RTGs. I need 375 to get another one. Any hostile craft spotted yet? No, we're good. Okay, what I can do is just test how far the torpedoes will run. Distance traveled 350, 400, 500, 6, 700, 800, 900, 1000, 1100, approaching 1400. I still need to add a ballast tank to these things because they're currently sea skimming, which is not ideal. Almost 2 clicks. I'll probably have way too much fuel for what I need. 2500. $3K. 3300. 3.5K. Okay, so I can fire out pretty safely to 3.5 kilometers. Good. Now what I need to do is add a ballast tank to ensure that these things not skim too much on the surface. Ballast tank. 2 modifiers, depth and buoyancy. Usually the standard buoyancy is just fine. Copy to all launchers. Good. Okay, we are back to building more RTGs. Because if this thing loses power entirely, then I'm in much, much bigger trouble. There we go. Now I'm regenerating power. But it also means that if this section of the ship gets hit, oh boy. Oh boy, am I going to take a hit. A craft has been detected. As something right over there on the top of the screen, that red exclamation mark. There is something out there and it's not friendly. But I cannot see where it is. Now I want to focus more on building the craft and commanding the craft than actually taking full control of all the weapon systems. So time to add a local weapons controller. Weapon controller here. Set this thing up to only engage units which are at a maximum altitude of nothing. Because I simply couldn't possibly target stuff above it. And set the range to 3K. Next, ensure that they have a wireless receiver so they can get commands from the mainframe. And then build the mainframe. Over there. A couple of connectors. Make sure I have expansion. No. Plug and play cards. No, that's how the ship behaves. That's not what I need. A couple of general processing cards. And then a couple of connectors to ensure that I can actually, that the AI can actually see what is happening. Because that is important. The AI needs to figure out whether there is a threat. So I'm just going to build a sort of mast on this craft. Connectors, AI. Now, a wireless receiver. It's a bit unusual because you'd think that this would be required to transmit to the AI. No. The mainframe is the only one that gets a transmitter. The rest all of them get receivers. Detection components. I will require not so much a rangefinder, but a camera is nice to have. And I'll use a Couple of radars. Radar 90, radar 360. Like that. Now, what happens next is that if the AI detects that something is in the area, it's going to see if it can engage it. If it's lower than or if it is within the bracket that I set for it. Currently, it's not. There's nothing in range. Although, hold on, what's that? There's definitely something there. Give me control. Yeah, that. Right there. Weapon away. Target 4.5 kilometers out. That is probably too far away. But seeing as I now have a decent amount of supplies, I might be able to just elongate the torpedo launchers and cram a few more fuel tanks in there. So just up the size of the torpedo tubes. Okay, we need to redo these. Fins, no, 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 no. Ballast tanks, yes. Magnet, no. First another fuel tank. Then another regulator to make sure that the thing doesn't blow up. Next up, the ballast tank. Check. Then, yeah, just a whole bunch of explosive warheads. Explosive warhead, 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 warhead. The last one needs to be a prediction guidance to make sure that it goes towards the target. And finally, not a reinforced body, but a torpedo sonar. Copy to all. Where's the target? I lost sight of it. And so did the torp. Is it still out there somewhere? There is something out there, but that seems to be loot. Right there. Okay, let's take the ship out. Engines to full. I drifted outside the collection circle. Oh, something else got it. Something else blew it up. That's nice. So I can now head over there and see if I can get the loot. Because everything that gets blown up can be looted. So just sail over there and get the stuff. But my speed is very low. I'm only traveling at 14 meters per second. That is not much. And yet I am at main drive of 100. So maybe just add a few more props to the ship. Because these are running at full speed. Water, no, blocks, wood, slopes. And a couple more props. They will take more power. Whoops. I just got rid of my props. You know what? I can just put these things stacked like that. There we go. Now we're traveling at 18 meters per second. We're still traveling towards that. Okay. Unfortunately, because my character is so low, I don't really have a lot of vision. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, that's a problem. I don't have a keel. And that is now coming back to bite me. Because I'm now upside down. Fortunately, there is no consideration that says, hey, you need to be breathing because I'm a robot. So fortunately, it's not like I'm going to suffocate, much like I would do in Stormworks. Let's go with a lead beam. It's going to be pretty hideous, but then again, it doesn't need to be pretty yet. It just needs to survive long enough. And are we flipping back yet? No? Come on now. Don't be like that. flip, damn it. Because I might be under fire. Oh, come on. Yeah, I am building from lead. But the ship just refuses to come back upright. Okay. Let's get creative. If the ship thinks that its center of mass is not good enough, I'm going to put a bunch of center of mass on one side. Or a bunch of mass, anyway. Yep, there we go. That will do. Thank you. Ship is still not exactly what I would call stable. But my torpedo launcher is now firing in anger. There is a threat out here somewhere. Alright, block. Here. And here. Yep, that is not friendly right there. Come on. Turn. Level your ship. Whoa! That took half of my torpedo launcher system out. Are we upright? Yes? Yes. Full ahead flank. Torpedoes are away, and I am out of here. See ya. That ship is not friendly. Now, fortunately, I had enough materials to repair the ship. Ooh, she's still shooting me. Torpedo loaded. Torpedo away. Targeting the one of the wooden blocks of the walrus. Distance 1200 meters. Let's follow this torp in and see what it does. Distance 700 meters. 500. There's the target. Get him. 16.4k damage. Very good. Was that also the pause button by any chance? Yes. I switched my function key or my screenshot key to F11. And the game now goes, and that also happens to be the pause key. That ship is not a happy ship. Not sure what that noise was exactly. Torpedo away, torpedo away. Unfortunately, I cannot track them as the AI launched them. But any damage I do means that there will be more plunder for me. Because every bit of damage that you do, I believe, gets translated into resources for you that you can then use to build more of your ship. Whoa. Two more torps in the water. Yep, I now have 900 points of resources. I still want to get to that flare up there, because that's where a ship has been destroyed. So that's where the resources are. Am I not sailing directly into another ship right now? No, it doesn't seem too safe. In this game mode, by the way, the gate that you can see over there takes you to either an easier or a more difficult part of the map, depending on which gate you sail through. I believe that the green gates were safer / easier. Red gates are more difficult. Now it looks like the walrus that we're targeting only has a minor type. Whoa! Hello. Only has a fairly minor armament. A couple of cannons. And she's not really getting along with my torpedoes, it seems. I'm hoping that I can do enough damage to that ship to just destroy it. Salvage it. And then see if I can use those resources in the next episode to build the ship out farther. Slow down just a touch. Go on. Torpedoes are away. The beauty that I find of torpedo launchers / rocket launchers, or missile launchers as they're officially called, is that you can, in a pinch, repurpose them to be surface-to-air missiles. So if you find that you're not being engaged by a surface threat, but you're engaged by anything that flies, it is then much safer to go at them with missiles. As torpedoes, of course, cannot reach them. It looks like the ship's no longer actively engaging me. And she's also quite close. Yeah, she's definitely taken damage. There are blocks falling off that ship. Wait, what? I'm dying? Oh. A decent portion of my ship got destroyed. Like a lot. Including, and this is critical, the Heartstone block. Oh, no, 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 no. No. This is a big waste. Because, I died. If you have no more Heartstone, which is the game's method of recharging your robot, if you will, then you die. And when you die, your adventure ends. So, this was a nice quick attempt. Only half an hour. Next time around, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to see if I can last longer and build a bigger and better craft. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know what you guys think of From the Depths. Do you want to see more? Do you go, nah, it's not that interesting? In a week or so, I'll have a look at the stats, and if there are enough views, if there's enough attention for the game, then I'll definitely be doing another video on it. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you, well, potentially next week for the next From the Depths. And otherwise, of course, in another video. See you then.